Okay, listener, so you're getting ready for a road trip, and, you're already kind of dreading that. Are we there yet? From the back seat.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, to help you out, we are diving into road trip language games for families from inclusiveteach.com.
Good source.
The goal here is to give you some games that will not only keep the kids entertained, but also, like, kind of sneak in some learning.
It's like, yeah, sneaky education, right?
Sneaky education,
Yeah.
exactly. So this guide is really cool because it breaks down games by age. So,
Yeah, that's helpful.
yeah, whether you have a preschooler or an older kid, there's something for everyone. Let's start with the little ones, the preschoolers.
Okay, those little Springer.
What kind of games work well for them?
Well, there's one that's a fun twist on a classic I Spy with colors.
Oh, okay.
So instead of looking for things that start with a letter, you're looking for colors. You know, like I spy something blue, and then they have to find it.
Oh, I can see that working. It's simple, but it gets them paying attention and learning their colors.
Exactly. And another good one is Sound Safari.
Oh, tell me about that one.
So with this one, you choose a sound like S, and then everyone listens for words that start with that sound. It could be something you see on a sign or just someone talking.
Ah, I see. So it's working on those early literacy skills without them even realizing it.
Exactly. It's building that phonemic awareness, that foundation for reading.
Sneaky. I like it. Okay, what about when they get a little older, like elementary school age?
Well, at that age, their vocabulary just explodes.
It does. And they start to love a challenge, too.
Right. So a good game for that age is Category Champions. You pick a category like animals or food and take turns naming things that fit.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
But how do you make it more challenging for the older kids?
You can add in a rule like making the words go in alphabetical order.
Oh, smart. So it becomes more about strategy and really thinking about those words.
Exactly. And another good one for that age is word chain. One person says a word, and the next person has to say a word that starts with the last letter of that word.
Oh, yeah, that one can get competitive.
For sure. But it's great for quick thinking and expanding their vocabulary.
Okay, now for the older kids, the ones who think they're too cool for games, what do you do with them?
Honestly, I think they'd secretly love these games too. One that's really fun is license plate stories.
License plate stories. How does that work?
You use the letters on a license plate to create a story prompt. So like if you see ABC 123, maybe your prompt is about an adventurous bear cub looking for 123 treasures.
Oh, I love that. It's creative and encourages storytelling.
Yeah. Another one for that age is word mix-up.
That's that one.
So you take a long word from a sign or billboard and see who can make the most smaller words out of the letters.
So turning a boring old sign into a word game.
Exactly. It reinforces spelling and vocabulary and gets them thinking about words in different ways.
I'm sensing a theme here, making learning fun and sneaking it in where they least expect it.
That's the key. Now, are there any games that can work for multiple ages?
I was going to ask that because, sometimes you have kids of different ages in the car.
Oh, for sure. Classics like 20 Questions and Rhyme Time are always good.
Yes, those are great, but how do you adapt them for different ages?
Well, with 20 Questions, you can start with easy things like objects in the car, and then as they get older, you can move to more abstract things like feelings or ideas.
And with rhyme time, you can start with simple rhymes and work your way up to rhyming phrases or even sentences.
Right, the key is to keep challenging them as they grow.
So basically, these games can grow with your kids, providing entertainment and learning for years.
Exactly. And the best part is they require no special equipment, just a little imagination.
So you're telling me I can stock up on these games now, and they'll last us for many road trips to come.
Absolutely. Just pure fun and learning all rolled into one.
I like the sound of that.
You know, it's not just about keeping them quiet, though, right? Like, these games actually help them learn and grow.
Right, it's not just busy work, it's like low-key educational, which is awesome.
Totally. Like, they're building their vocabularies, obviously, but also practicing how to say words correctly.
Yeah,
And they're even working on their storytelling skills and memory.
it's like a whole brain workout, but disguised as a game.
Yeah.
And what about, like, social skills? Because those could be tough to teach sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Things like taking turns, being a good sport, really listening to each other. Those are all being practiced too, without even realizing it.
It's sneaky, but in a good way. Okay, we got all these great games, but did the guide have any tips for actually making game time run smoothly? Because, a car full of kids, things can go south pretty quickly.
Yeah, they did have some good tips. Like, one thing they emphasized was keeping it fresh. So, rotating games, letting the kids come up with variations, maybe even invent their own rules, anything to keep it interesting.
Variety is key, right? What else did they suggest?
They also talked about how to handle those inevitable
Oh,
meltdowns.
yeah, the meltdowns. We've all been there.
Right. So they suggested having a code word for cool down time or planning for breaks where everyone can get out and stretch their legs.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Sometimes everyone just needs a reset.
Mhm.
Did they say anything about competition? Because that can get pretty intense, especially with siblings.
Ooh, yeah, they did. They really stressed the importance of praising effort over winning.
Oh, that's a good point. It's about the journey, not the destination, right?
Exactly. It's about having fun and learning together, not about who wins or loses.
That's such a good reminder. Okay, so we've got the basics down, but what about for those families who are like road trip warriors? They're hitting the road a lot. Does the guide have anything for them, like next level games or something?
They do. They have some really cool advanced level games. One is called Word Geography.
Word geography. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's for those who love geography and maps. You take turns naming places like cities, states, or countries that start with the last letter of the previous place.
So it's kind of like word chain, but with a geography twist.
Exactly. And to make it even more challenging, each player has to share a fact about the place they name.
Oh, I love that. It's like sneaking in a little education.
Right. And then there's Verb Voyage.
Verb voyage. Okay, that sounds intriguing.
This one's great for kids who love to tell stories. You look for action words, verbs on signs, billboards, even license plates, and use those words to create a story.
Wait, so if you see a sign that says exit or merge, those become part of your story.
Exactly. It's a fun way to get those creative juices flowing.
I like it. Anything else for the word nerds out there?
Oh, yeah, they have one called Syllable Search.
Syllable search. What is that all about?
It's a good way to work on what's called phonological awareness, which is basically like being aware of the sounds in words, like knowing that banana has 3 syllables.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And with syllable search, you're basically looking for words with a certain number of syllables. You can start easy with 1 syllable and then work your way up.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's like a sound scavenger hunt.
Exactly, and it's really engaging their brains in a whole new way.
Okay, I am officially sold on these games. It sounds like they can really transform those long car rides from something we dread into something we actually enjoy.
And who knows? Maybe you'll even spark a lifelong love of language and learning in your kids along the way.
Now, that's a great souvenir to bring back from a road trip.
It really is amazing how something as simple as a game can make a big difference.
It's like instead of dreading those hours in the car, you can actually look forward to them.
Right. And one thing the guide suggested that I really liked was the idea of creating your own family variations of these games.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that's a good point. Like, make it your own right.
Exactly. You could even start traditions for certain routes you take often. Like every time you drive to grandma's house, you play a specific game.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like building your own little road trip memories.
Exactly. And those memories are what make those trips so special.
It reminds me of this game my family used to play when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
We called it the grocery list game. We'd take turns adding things to an imaginary grocery list, but the catch was each item had to start with the next letter of the alphabet.
Oh, that's clever. So, how would it go?
It would start normal, like apples, bananas, cereal, but then it would get crazy with things like xylophones, yak milk, zebra stripes.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine.
We would be laughing so hard. And, even now, whenever I see a zebra, I think of that game.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's those little things that make those trips so memorable, right?
Absolutely. And the best part is, you don't need any fancy stuff, just your imagination and a willingness to have some fun. So next time you're packing for a road trip, remember to pack those language games right alongside your snacks.
They're just as essential for a smooth and happy trip.
And remember, don't be afraid to get creative. Make up your own games, let the kids take the lead, make it your own.
It's all about those memories.
So there you have it. Road trips don't have to be a battle against boredom. With a little creativity and some fun language games, you can turn those long drives into a chance to learn, laugh, and bond as a family. And hey, maybe you'll even spark a love of language and learning along the way.
Safe travels, everyone.